This week's parasha, VaYakheil Pekudey, is the first of the possible double parashas that can occur throughout the year. We need these double parashas due to the way that the Jewish calendar is set up. A regular year has approximately 51 Shabbatot, while a leap year has approximately 54, as we add a 13th month to the year. As well, there are 54 parashas in the Torah. Every parsha, except for the last, is read on a non-holiday Shabbat, and the last one, Rizot HaBracha, is read only on Simchat Torah. While many leap years have enough non-holiday Shabbatot to allow for a single parsha to be read without the need to double up, regular non-leap years, as this year, however, are short on non-holiday Shabbatot and necessitate the need to have double parshas. According to Rachamim Sar Shalom, a noted Israeli educator and expert on the Hebrew calendar, in the past, each community actually had its own custom on how to divide or double up the set parshas. Depending upon the needs of the year and the specific community, some parshas were actually split in half, while even other double parshas were instituted. Today, however, we all use the same set of rules which all communities follow throughout the year. The only exception to the standardization is the Israeli diaspora divide due to the second day of Yom Tov in the diaspora. If the seventh day of Pesach or the first day of Shavuot falls out on a Friday, then for those in Israel, the Shabbat immediately following that Friday is a regular Shabbat, and we read a regular Shabbat Torah portion. In the diaspora, however, that Shabbat is still a holiday as it is the second day, and therefore requires the special Yom Tov reading. This causes Israel and the diaspora to go out of sync for a number of weeks, until a double parsha can be read in the diaspora, allowing the diaspora to catch up to Israel. All this explanation, however, describes the what and the mechanics, but it does not explain the why. Why are specific parshas picked for doubling up and not others? For us, why is it that VaYakheil and Pekudey are specifically chosen to be doubled up? The simple answer should be that both parshas are dealing with the building of the Mishkan. In VaYakheil, the people built all the parts of the physical structure of the Mishkan, and in Pekudey, they fashioned all the vestments and assembled them together to form the completed Mishkan. So it should only be natural to want to put them together. The counter-argument to this is that these parshas are very similar to Truma and Tetzaveh. If the only reason to put VaYakheil and Pekudey together is that they are both dealing with the building of the Mishkan, then Truma and Tetzaveh should also be candidates to double up, but they aren't. So why do we choose to double up VaYakheil and Pekudey, but not Truma and Tetzaveh? Truma and Tetzaveh are both descriptions of what needs to be done. Each set of descriptions, while related to each other, are really self-contained. VaYakheil and Pekudey, on the other hand, are much more than a set of descriptions of what needs to be done. They describe together the wedding of God and Israel. Just as in a Jewish wedding there are two stages, the Kiddushin, the engagement and sanctification, and then the Chuppah, the coming together under one roof, so too do these two parshas together describe the very same two stages of God coming together with Israel. It starts with VaYakheil, to gather all the people together to tell them about Shabbat. Why retell the Shabbat again to everyone when they had already heard it a few times? In last week's parsha, God told us that the Shabbat is a special and unique covenant and sign between Him and us. By Moshe recalling the Shabbat at the start of the building of the Mishkan and adding some details to it, it became a type of Kiddushin, a sanctification that everyone participated in. The gathering of the materials and the fashioning of all the parts of the Mishkan and its contents was like the building and preparing of the house for that fateful day. The final assembly of the Mishkan with God manifesting His presence in Pekudey reminds us of the Chuppah, where both bride and groom finally come together under one roof. Thus, it is VaYakheil and Pekudey together that tells the full story of God's marriage ceremony with Israel, and therefore chosen and appropriate to be together when needed. Shabbat Shalom.